after somebody.
All right, it's 1:31. We will reconvene back into open session. Everyone's had a moment. Item 7 is approve the minutes from our regular meeting on October 15, 2019. There's no change there. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Got a motion? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed are the same. No one passes. Mr. Gold.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will just quickly go through some highlights of the written material that we sent out and respond to any questions you might have. The call center met the performance indicators for the month of October. I think that's the second month in a row that we have, or maybe more than that. So that's good. That was good news. Average wait time of 23 seconds, which is really good. Let's see here. On page 33, we've got the AMI report. Deployment rate for the electric meters remains on track, and we've got 69% deployed. It's probably more than that today, since it's probably a little lag time. It's pretty good. I think we're making good progress there. We added a water report this month, even though it's electric utility. 37% complete on water deployments. Page 35. And then the commercial construction report, I was going to mention that quite a few projects got completed. A couple of Texas Tech facilities. The athletic dining hall, Fraser Alumni, was completed. Texas Tech greenhouse. If you're a fan of Wendy's, we finished 2 new Wendy's restaurants. We've got an Uncle Julio's restaurant complete now at the mall. And then the Target store remodel complete. And other than that, we added quite a few new commercials during the month of October, so still pretty active commercial development in Lubbock, which is good. Any questions on anything?
Another one of the contractors for Wendy's from 98 said they can't find anyone to work there. That's why it's not open yet.
Oh, it's not open yet?
One of 98?
They opened on Saturday.
Did they not
They
get
had
it?
a guy that called people in on the third.
He was flagging them in.
Yeah, they're flagging them in.
I skipped one thing I was going to mention on page 21. I mentioned this previously. We've got Kista Jones, who works for us. Her son is quarterback for Estacado, and of course they won their first playoff game. I think they're 12-0 this season, so they're having a great season.
Cool. May I thank you for telling me what page? I appreciate it. Very nice help.
That's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as we have in the past, we'll step through to the active projects, give you a brief update as to the construction activity from last month till now. If you have any questions, please stop me. I'm going to try to move through these rather quickly, as I know you're running a little behind. So, 476 Red Raider Substation, as was last month, we are currently complete with the project. We're in active closeout. So we're waiting on as-builds. As soon as we get the as-builds for the finalized drawings, we'll close out the invoicing with Black & Beach, which is the engineer of record, and we'll finalize, close out the project. Red Raider tap, same scenario as overall Red Raider, same closeout. We have fully commissioned this station. Last month, we were still in active commissioning. We are complete with that tap, so it is moving to final closeout. We're waiting on a few trailing invoices from UCS, which was a contractor on site, and that's why you're seeing a little bit of a lag in the overall invoicing. We expect next month for that to be finalized. Same with Slayton. Construction is complete, commissioning is complete. Waiting on the finalization of the UCS invoice to close out that project. So next month, should see that trail up to just over $10 million, and we'll start closing out 472.
When you say close out, that means everything's cool, electricity's running, or it's done, or whatever.
So right now, the substation construction is actually complete. We've already commissioned the station, so electrically, it's done. We're just looking from more of a financial standpoint and drawings.
Okay.
So at the end of a project, we take all the drawings in from the field, and the owner's rep finalizes them to make sure that there's no other changes based on their initial design. They stamp them complete, bring them back to us, but electrically, it's all complete.
Okay, so electrically it's going, it's just
Yes, ma'am.
kind of back-end paperwork, sign-off. Okay,
Exactly.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Vicksburg. So this is still in active construction. Last month, we were receiving the transformer during the EUB meeting. We did successfully receive the transformer, get it on its pad, tested, and we're currently going through tests on that transformer right now. This project is on schedule, and we're looking to have it complete by the end of December. So no issues, concerns with Vicksburg. Next will be the overall CCN efforts with the ERCOT integration and the work we're doing along with Encore. No real updates from last month till now. Still two of the 4 CCNs have been approved. We're targeting the 3rd CCN is scheduled for approval in the middle of December. Thompson to Vicksburg for 92403. We are in active construction. Kind of a slow start to construction, as I mentioned to you all last month, and getting the book signed with the contractor, and it was the contractor's fault on that. In with a slow start, they have had a change in management or on-site management. They had swapped PMs, so we worked through that. Working through a few other issues in the field with an apartment complex at Fountain Apartments. You all may be familiar with them. But other than that, we should maintain schedule. We are targeting the end of January for the completion of Thompson to Vicksburg. 470 is Oliver Substation. Currently, we're targeting the end of, say, the middle of December, starting at the end of December, for the receipt of that transformer. We're going to delay the dress out and testing of that transformer until January, and to try to get past the holiday season. It's just having people travel away from their family during Christmas and New Year's. Just wasn't the best in our opinion, and from a schedule perspective, we could do that without jeopardizing the overall program. So again, we're delaying the dress out and testing until January, and we're looking for a cutover sequence for the T-line in March. So long story short, Oliver's on schedule, no issues, concerns. The next project, 664. This is the Oliver station work as it relates to the 115 integration from Encore. We don't have a detailed cash flow yet for this. We're targeting to have it for you in the December EUB meeting. Other than that, the schedule is a mirror image of the actual Oliver substation project. So there's no real differentiation between these projects, other than we're trying to identify the cost as it associates with 4 of it. Holly Substation, 469. No real updates from last month till now. Everything's tracking on schedule from procurement as well as overall engineering. Northwest McKenzie is the overall T-line project that we have pushed from starting originally in July until we went from November, December, and now we're targeting the 1st of January. We'd like to walk through this one a little bit more in depth. We've had quite a few issues with closing out some right-of-way and overall easements. That's what has consistently and repeatedly pushed the overall project. Majority of these issues are with outside legal counsel and representation on just getting a few of the closing documents signed. This could be trying to get death certificates, power of attorneys, things of that nature. We have the easements that are agreed to. We just have to make sure that the right parties, that we're verifying that the people that actually own the easement are the right individual. There's been some change in ownerships as well as some corporations that have not been appropriately dissolved. So our right-of-way company that's working on this legacy is actively engaging all of those parties to try to get this wrapped up. I say that we're currently targeting the 2nd week of December. If we don't have everything wrapped up by the 2nd week of December, we're running jeopardy of possibly pushing this project again, and that could have a downstream effect on the overall program. So for all parties involved on LP&L side, it's kind of a full court press to get this done before Christmas. Next project is McKenzie. It's 468. Currently, this project, I think we're voting on it currently for, last EUB we voted on this for a grant, I believe. Their current schedule for construction actually has us coming ahead of schedule. So that's something we weren't quite anticipating. So what this is going to allow us to do is possibly get generation back in service prior to June 1st, which could help the generation there at McKenzie without having to go out for a purchase power agreement to offset that. So that McKenzie is going well. Southeast Oliver. Started construction on this is looking to be actually the second week of February. Your notes show the end of January. We've had to slide that because our team missed a deadline to get into an EUB meeting on December. So from an overall schedule perspective, we're not in jeopardy of pushing any other projects. Just know that we will be targeting a January EUB, not a December. So just a heads up on that. Chalker to Thompson, 405, no real updates from last month. This project's moving along as it should. Obviously, it was delayed from earlier this year till next year, and we're on track to maintain schedule. Ursula McKenzie, because of the split in Northwest McKenzie targeting a January start, we have pushed Northwest McKenzie to start in March. Overall, for this line, doesn't really put anything in jeopardy. We're trying to avoid having two contractors on top of each other at the same pole location. So we've slid this one, and again, it's no real concern to the overall program. Should work well. Holly to Southeast, 115 line. It's 92477. Everything's going pretty well with this project. We are going to be meeting with the engineering department today to establish if the recommendation on the overall right-of-way width that they prefer is actually what LPNL would like to utilize or request that Legacy actually acquire. We might be able to get away with a little bit less, save a little money. So that's what we're going to identify today. It's just a heads up, the overall cost on that one may change, but nothing significant. 473 is the new Oliver station. Mainly on this one, procurement's on track, and we're monitoring Encore's efforts for this substation. 466 is the co-op auto transformer project. No updates from last month till now. Engineering is moving along as scheduled as well as procurement. Next is Southeast, 407. Started construction still for the middle of 2020. Anticipating start date of 1st of July. Other than that, everything's moving along as it should on schedule. The associated work with its tie, as we mentioned previously with Oliver, same scenario with this one, mirror image on schedule. We're just breaking out the cost, so no other changes on that project. 610 is an Abernathy to Wadsworth 345 line. Right-of-way acquisition has started and is on schedule. No other updates. XFAB 115 station. We did get acknowledgement from XFAB that the station location was acceptable to them, so engineering is moving forward with their work, and we have started to actively look at procurement for the needs of that station. No real issues or concerns with the transformer on that one at this time. Same as the other two stations, more of a mirror image, splitting out capital, so no updates for 663. Possible T-line 474 for the 115th, between the 115 and 345 station. Obviously, this will be determined based on the 4 CCN that hasn't been signed yet, so this is kind of a to be determined. We'll skip through. Holly to Slayton. We worked through a few things with TxDOT last month. We got approval to maintain our existing design. So that was kind of a big red flag that allowed us to breathe a little bit. So we were happy with that from the project team. With that being said, right-of-way is back on schedule and engineering is moving forward. And hopefully for the January EUB, you'll see a procurement request and acknowledgement for steel pole purchasing. Next is the Wadsworth expansion. So obviously slight modification potentially for this project. I guess it's still in the works. So you'll see more on this one more in the upcoming months. This is going to be the same story for the next two projects. This is for 666, 662, and 611. I apologize. right numbers. 662, 475, and 666. So all three of those projects kind of have the same story, a little bit more to be determined and better defined once the CCN or the CCN is finalized. Back to transmission lines. So 611 is a 345 line between Wadsworth, New Oliver, and potentially farmland for Lubbock. Again, waiting on finalized CCN, but I think they're beginning to do some right-of-way preliminary work that they can do ahead of time. So 533 and 661, so the next two are the 115 lines that they removed from New Oliver to Southeast. Again, can't do any real work on these until CCN is awarded. We'll skip through those. North to X5 will be decided by the 4th CCN, so no real update on that one. Abernathy to North transmission line, just like the last project, until the 4th CCN is established. No real update. Lastly, the overall Encore project schedules. And again, the schedules that you see in front of you or up on the screen are what Encore will own at the end of the day, but still from a tracking perspective and overall project completion, we're actively monitoring these as well, just to ensure they'll be able to maintain their dates. And then the overall voltage conversion schedule for internal Lubbock, we're targeting for the end of 2020 to the first of 2021. No modifications to that have been made since the last EUB meeting. I know I went through pretty quickly. If you have any questions, that's all I have for this month.
On track and Encore, what's your fallback when you guys start seeing them kind of, seeing them, they stay right on pace, but if they get behind a little bit?
So they are currently tracking to come in ahead of schedule. So I think we'll actively monitor that and see what we can offer via assistance if need be. But right now, they're maintaining schedule. They're putting additional resources. One thing they are doing on one of the T lines is where they see their project is starting to slip. They've now reallocated and double staffed that from a contractor perspective. So they're doing what they can to maintain their run.
Just a question, in terms of procurement, before you start, are all the objects and transformers and wire and everything that you need, all the material, is it on a stack lot ready to go before you start, or how do you sequence that?
So we try to be a little ahead of just on-time delivery. So nothing is really on stock. We have to go procure everything. LPL doesn't have a stock of material that we pull for the overall construction projects. From a maintenance perspective, that's a little different. For what we're overseeing construction, we actually go out for every single project and procure all material. With that being said, we try to have it here a little bit in advance of when we'll actually have boots on the ground or contractors here to ensure they can hit the ground running.
Okay, so it's not just smack up. You have a little bit of lead time before they need it, that you have it arrive.
Traditionally, from a T-line perspective, about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. From what we're currently targeting, we'll try to have the material start showing up on site.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Further questions there? Please, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
If you don't mind, can you refresh my memory on the contract, the end of the contract with SBS, the bridge?
SBS contract, the bridge contract, it terminates May 31st, 2021.
It's pretty tight.
It's very tight.
Okay.
Very tight.
Anything else? All right. Item 9.
I don't have a formal presentation today. I just wanted to say that normally we'd be presenting September financials, but we're in the middle of our year-end close, and the auditors are going to be here starting on Monday for about 3 weeks doing their field work. Goal is to basically have a CAFR, or Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, to present to the Finance Subcommittee and the Investment Audit Committee at the City on February the 4th. We'll be reaching out to the Finance Committee pretty soon to check on availability for the 4th, and more than likely the morning of the 4th of February. And then we'll be presenting the CAFR to the council at the February 25th council meeting is the current plan. So we'll take a little bit of a hiatus from financial snapshots for the next couple of months. We are still providing you with the capital overview on a month-to-month basis. I'm not going to go over that since Jason just went over that in pretty good detail. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So that's all I have today.
Kevin, you're chair, correct, if I'm not?
I'm putting it on my calendar.
What day?
February 4th.
Tentative, correct?
That is correct. February 4th.
What time during the day?
We haven't set a time. It more than likely it'd be morning time, but we'll have to coordinate that with the auditors and with your group as well. So we'll be reaching out soon to get that formalized.
Any other items on number 9? Not, takes us to number 10. Consider resolution recommending the city council of the city of Lubbock name certain substations as follows.
Mr. Chairman, we have 3 new substations coming in, one of which we have been calling the X-Fab, the other we called New Wadsworth, and the other we called New Aldwood. Ultimately, we would like to give each one of those substations a unique name that kind of differentiates it from everything else. It'd be a little confusing until we all get used to the new names. But so in the resolution, I have some names that I have recommended, and I like Encore's approach of naming them after nearby geographic features, which kind of ties them to the landscape instead of naming them after people like has been the tradition here. So that would be my recommendation, is that we call the one at the north end of town the Yellow House Canyon Substation, the one close to Wadsworth, call it the Dunbar, the one south of town, call it Posey. It's near the little community of Posey. Our legal department has done some research on any ordinances or any guidance that's in the ordinances about how to go through this naming process. There really is no guidance in the ordinances that we can see, so we're going to recommend the board adopt these names or other names as you see fit, and then that would go to the city council for their confirmation.
Questions, comments?
Motion approved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. All right, that brings us to item 11. Consider and take possible minute action related to the date and place of the regular meeting for December 17, 2019, and the place of the EUB meetings moving forward. So, December 17th, we have some conflicts, correct?
That's correct. So as you'll recall, for the holiday season, the city council meeting is split to the first and third Tuesdays, so that would be the EUB meeting on the same day as the city council meeting in December. So we need to look at an alternative date, perhaps the Wednesday that week, the 18th, if that might work. And then, decide on the location. If y'all are comfortable here, we can certainly do this again. And then pursuant to the chairman's request to talk about, the location sort of moving forward until you can use Citizens Tower.
I still want to, I think, we'll get to let's get to the date first. 17th, so they're meeting the 3rd and they're meeting the 3rd and the 17th now.
Yeah, council 3rd and 17th. Yes, that's
Spoke with the staff. They said it doesn't really matter. I think you are going to be out of town on the 13th, though.
Yes.
Correct. So that was going to be a short week to get things posted for Thursday. They can make it work. But,
so the 18th.
18th. How's that work for everyone?
It's good.
Doesn't work for you.
Doesn't work for these. Okay. Okay. We make sure.
Rather than move it towards Christmas, we move it previous week.
I mean, that motion's out there, so how about the previous week? What's that do for y'all staff? Why?
Well, we just have to avoid the 12th and the 13th.
Yeah.
What about the
Does
Thursday
moving
and
early
19th?
impact what y'all are doing on the 12th and 13th? You like busy guys?
It doesn't really
think so.
impact that.
Tuesday the
no.
10th, like a week
10th works for me.
Keep it on a Tuesday and move it the week before the 10th. Go around. What these do?
The 10th, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. And then as far as the meeting place, today I think Works fine. Did anyone have any issues getting out here or finding restrooms or anything like that done?
And just stay here until we go to the final world or whatever.
I think we set this going forward, yes, in my opinion. That way we don't have to come over somewhere else or anything else. They're not taking our furniture or anything, right? Okay, well, entertain a motion.
Motion to move our meeting to December 10th at this location.
At 11, yes, sir. Get a second?
I'll say.
Get a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same. That one is also passed unanimous. All right, that brings us to consent agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
if I
sorry.
could interrupt just a minute.
Yes.
We probably want a motion then to continue meeting here until we can meet Citizens Tower. Because we set the location for December.
for the location.
Did
Okay. So
we
go
get
on.
all together, the 10th, and location here, and then the next one's in?
Is that what you said, Bush, going
Yes,
forward?
that's what I said.
Is that what you seconded, Mr. Wells? Does that work?
That works.
Correct.
Robert.
That brings us to the consent agenda for items 12 through 21 is correct. 12 through 21.
Mr. Chair, the only item is item 12 was not ready to proceed today, so that needs to be pulled from a vote.
Sit out 12.
Yes, sir.
Pulling item 12 off.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have, on the consent agenda, we'll have items 13 through 21. Is there any of those separately? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion? Second. All those in favor, do so by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same. Approved. Our favorite part, we adjourn. Thank you all. Thank everyone.
Thank you.